This podcast contains strong language and adult themes. Listener's discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to A Page Too Far, the show where each week one of us reads a book and tells the other all about it. My name is Ancalagon the Black, and with me as always is my co-host, a CGI dragon voiced by Sean Connery.
Does he have a name?
Yes.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on!
What's the name of the dragon from Dragonheart?
Sean Connery! I don't know. I don't remember.
What is his name? Draco. No, Draco's the second one.
No, yeah, that's... Ew. Ew. I saw the fourth one.
Oh, God.
That was rough.
Yeah.
That was a rough one.
I think I saw that one, too, because I think it had Tamsin Merchant in it, and when it came out, I had like a little crush on her. What was his name?
I don't know. I think they just called him the dragon.
No, yeah, he definitely had a name. Oh, it is Draco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's the name of the dragon in the second one?
I don't know.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This week, we are diving into a book that's a kind of a related topic. It is called Tea with the Black Dragon.
No, this is the second dragon book you've pulled out.
This is the second dragon. I bought it from the same store.
Oh, okay.
At the same time.
All right.
This cost me $1.50.
Okay.
Here's the cover.
Wow. This is a really cool cover.
It is.
It's a dragon. He has so this is less the European idea of dragon. This looks more like a Chinese dragon almost.
You're exactly right. Is it a Chinese imperial dragon?
Okay, yeah. So he's got a little teacup in his hand and he's like flipping through a book with his tail. He has a head that looks like a cow or a buffalo almost.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, he's hairy.
A bit of a frog body.
Yeah.
So the reason I picked up this book, it's by R.A. McAvoy and is published by Bantam Books, copyright 1983.
Wow. Okay.
83. The reason I picked this book up is that it says on the back, I'm going to read this to you verbatim. This is a deft blend of the oldest of magics in a dragon and the newest of sorceries in computers. I thoroughly enjoyed it, by Anne McCaffrey. So this person who gave this quote, Anne McCaffrey, excuse me.
Okay.
Anne McCaffrey is a fiction writer.
Okay.
A fantasy fiction writer who wrote a series called The Dragons of Pern, or The Dragon Riders of Pern, P-E-R-N.
Okay. Which
is a really popular fantasy series that ended a while ago. I think she passed away in like 2011, something like that. But she was writing those in like the 80s and everything. So it's kind of one of the things people look at as kind of the foundation for modern fantasy. I thought she knew what she was talking about.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
It's not a good book?
No.
Oh.
That's fine, though. We need a fun one every now and then. So without further ado, let's dive in to Tea with the Black Dragon. We start with Martha McNamara staring out at the Pacific Ocean and comparing it to the views she's used to of the Atlantic.
You know, this ocean, it looks like an ocean, but it doesn't look like that other ocean.
That's pretty much her conclusion. She's like, I mean, it's all the ocean, but this just looks different.
How? Is there an explanation there? What? Because I don't personally know. I've only looked at one ocean. So
Generally speaking, I think the Atlantic is a little more choppy than the Pacific. I think the Pacific tends to be a little calmer. It does not give specifics. That's just from what I remember people saying.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But she's like, it just looks different. I think it reminds me of the time that I went from Northwest PA and I flew to California.
Okay.
And the architecture there was very, very similar in the place that I was staying to Northwest PA, but everything was just a little bit off. Like the curbs were just a little bit different. The trees were a little bit different. The road signs, like everything was the same because it was the same kind of suburb. There's just a little bit different.
Right,
Something was just wrong. That's kind of how I picture this. She's waiting to meet with her daughter who lives out here. She's in San Francisco.
Okay.
She had gotten a call from her daughter saying that she was in trouble. Her daughter was in trouble. And her daughter Liz paid for a flight and a hotel for Martha to stay at. As a side note, the entire book, I really wanted to make a Batman v Superman joke with Martha. So Martha had a conversation with the bartender of the hotel that she was staying at, and he was nice enough, but she was still anxious about her daughter. They were supposed to grab dinner tomorrow night, but Liz hadn't confirmed that with her. So normally it'd be like, hey, do you want to go grab dinner? Yeah, sure, let's go. And then, hey, just double check and make sure we're good.
Right.
Because Liz is very thorough, but she hadn't confirmed that second one. So Martha wasn't sure what was going on. She said she was in trouble, and now she's not reaching her.
Okay.
We find out that this is very unusual. Liz is very punctual and very proper. She believes in a sense of propriety and hates that her mother doesn't care as much. We find out more about that later. There's actually some very interesting relationship dynamics here.
Okay.
That night, we find Martha being introduced by the bartender to Mayland Long.
Okay.
Mayland Long is a man of Chinese descent who was educated at Oxford. So he speaks with a British accent,
Okay.
but he is Chinese. Mayland already knows of Martha. So they're being introduced by the bartender.
Right.
And Mayland says, I have a 78 record in my room of you playing the violin.
That's a great intro.
And this is where we are introduced to the fact that Liz plays the violin.
Okay.
And she had been a very successful tourist and performer and gave it up to raise her daughter.
Right. Okay.
Which her daughter doesn't agree with. Her daughter thinks she should have continued her career because her daughter is into women's independence.
So she resents the fact that she was even born.
Pretty much. She said the line is given. I don't think I wrote it down. The line is given that she said she would have rather been given to a nanny or been aborted.
Wow. Okay.
Than have her mother give up her career just for her.
Right.
But Mayland has one of her records and he identifies a specific piece that she recorded. And she's like, well, you couldn't possibly know it was me. And he's like, no, you did this at this recording studio. And she's like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Little creepy.
Little bit. Little eccentric, shall we say. There is so much small talk in this scene that goes nowhere. I looked at it. It's like a page and a half of nothing.
Oh, man.
And I forgot to say at the beginning, it's 166 pages. So relatively small book. But
oof, okay.
Page and a half of just nonsense.
Yeah.
We find out that Mayland doesn't play music, but he does appreciate art. She comments on his hands saying, because they shake hands when they're introduced, and she's like, you could totally span an octave on a keyboard. You have to be like a piano player. He's like, no, I don't really play an instrument. I just appreciate good music.
Just a side note, I can do an octave plus 2 notes.
Nice.
So 10.
I can do an octave. They talk about the Ballad of Thomas the Rhymer, which they don't explain at all.
Okay.
So
I assume it's just a famous piece, maybe.
Pretty much. I looked it up. Basically, it's a Scottish folktale where a Scottish bard is taken to Elfland by the Elf Queen.
Okay.
Has a wonderful time, and is then given the gift of a tongue which cannot lie.
Is that a gift?
That's the way it's phrased in the poem, and he lives happily ever after.
That doesn't seem like a gift to me.
That's what they say, because a bard at the time, especially Thomas the Rhymer, made very satirical poems and songs, and now he can't lie. They took away his one thing. That's where the story ends.
So songs are like, the king is a shithead. He's so stupid. One thing that is, there's a fucking flaw in that logic, though.
Yeah.
Once you go to the Fey world, you cannot come back. That is a thing.
It is a thing, and it's a thing that they explain in the tale, but I don't remember how they explained it. They're just like, she's the queen of the Fey realm, so she like hides him and protects him and takes him back.
But it's a time thing, because the Fey world goes faster, so when you get back, you instantly die of old age.
Yeah, she's the queen. I don't know. Time things. Okay. It's weird. Look, there's the tale that I found, because again, they don't explain any of this.
Right.
In the book, but the tale that I found, there were 6 different variations, and it was like in A it does this, in B it does this, in C it does this, and then this happens, and in A it does this, and B it does it. So I'm a little confused. I didn't read the whole thing because I felt like I shouldn't have to understand part of this book.
Exactly.
So they continue talking about Thomas the Rhymer, and Mayland says, by the way, do you know the true version of the tale? What happened afterwards, after he came back?
Okay.
He found out that he had a son in the Fey realm, because apparently he had a really good time with the queen.
Yeah, how do you not? Okay, all right.
So he goes back to Elfland after finding out that he had a son with the queen, and his son is the one who told me the story.
Told who?
Told Mayland.
Okay.
The original
the son
ending of the
born
story.
In the Feyland.
Yep, is the one who told Mayland.
Okay.
Now this story is circa 12 to 1300.
So Mayland's pretty fucking old.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Yep. Martha says, oh, that's weird, and moves on.
What? Okay. Maybe she's like us, or it's just like, all right, whatever, dude. Whatever.
It doesn't give you any insight into her inner thoughts, but the next thing she does is excuse herself and say she's really jet lagged. So I'm inferring that she's using that as an excuse to say maybe she hadn't understood it right.
Excuse me, I need to get the fuck out of here, away from you.
Exactly. But it doesn't say that.
Right.
That's just me giving the author credit. So she says she's still jet lagged, and Mayland asks her to dinner tomorrow. She says She has plans with her daughter tomorrow, but we'll see what we can do. She does have to get up at 5 to practice Zazen.
Okay.
That's all we get.
I don't know what Zazen is.
I Googled it again.
Okay.
Zazen is the sort of sitting meditation practiced by monks and yoga enthusiasts, the full lotus position, clearing your mind.
Meditation.
Yeah, but it's a specific style.
Fuck off.
Yep.
Just say you're meditating.
Yeah.
So the first date
Yes.
was I listen to your music all the time.
Uh-huh.
And I'm 700 years old.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
So he's smooth.
That
He's
about
a smooth
does it.
Operator.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he really knows. He's a charmer for sure.
Yeah.
As she walks back to her room, the bartender who had introduced them catches up to her and he says, he gets a name, but I'm not giving him a name.
Okay.
He says, hey, just so you know, Malin's really, really nice, but he's a little weird. Like, I thought he was really dry at first, but then I realized everything he says it has like a pun to it. And like, once you pick that up, it's kind of fun. That's the bartender saying this. So I didn't notice any of that.
Okay.
But when he gets drunk, he also says that he's a dragon, like an actual dragon.
Okay. I kind of guessed that from the 700 years.
It's totally set up.
Yeah.
No, the reader has more insight into what's going on than,
Did I ever tell you that I could fucking breathe fire?
Well, on top of that, a while ago, a junkie was found dead outside his room. He claims not to know anything about it, but the junkie's neck was snapped and there was no other sign of injury. It was ruled that he fell.
Okay.
And Martha's like, oh, weird. Okay. And goes back to her room.
Okay. Well, why would oh, God. Assuming he did do that, why the fuck would he just kill somebody? I would assume he'd eat them, maybe. Right,
or do something.
Yeah.
But no, so a junkie is found dead with a snapped neck outside of his room. He claims to not know anything about it.
Right.
He claims that he was asleep when it happened, and there's no evidence to the contrary.
So, hey, I'm 700 years old. Let's get together tomorrow night. Bartender's like, hey, he's kind of weird. Says he's a dragon. There was a dead guy outside his room the one time. So that's cool. We're it's still on for tomorrow night.
Yeah. Like, oh, weird. Okay. So at this point, what I'm thinking is, oh no, I picked another book about a heroin dealer and a dragon.
I was going to say it has flavors of that.
Yeah. This is very much like chasing the dragon. I'm going to lay those fears aside. It is completely different.
That's good.
Yes. We cut to Mayland in an elevator. He's going to his room, and he's reminiscing about the night. He could sense something in Martha that he'd been waiting for. The Tao.
Tao.
T-A-O.
I've heard that term, but I don't know what it is.
Yep, same. He remembers his old teacher towards the end of his day saying, before you find yourself, you will lose your chi, but your answer lies across the ocean. Go and find what you seek. So he is going to find the answer that he is looking for, but he's going to lose everything in himself, including his chi.
This is Full Metal Alchemist.
It's also not explained at all.
Okay.
I'm trying to piece this together because there are facts that change in this story, and I'm trying to make sense of what we have as we get it. And I don't mean that facts change like we learn new information. I mean facts change like they're just wrong.
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're stated
we'll mention
one way.
One big one specifically.
Okay.
The next day, we find Martha wandering around a restaurant in the hotel, and the maitre d' asks her to follow him. She is brought to a private room called the Crystal Room.
Okay. Get a lot of good energies in there.
Yeah, exactly.
To recharge yourself.
Exactly.
Communicate with things.
Everything is made out of crystal. The glasses, the plates, the silverware. Maybe not the silverware. I don't remember. But it's all decorated in crystal. And this is Malin's private room.
Okay.
Dude's loaded.
He's drunk?
No. He's got all the cash in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. Malin Long is sitting and they dine together. It specifically also says that Martha says she'll take the lobster because whenever anyone's paying, she always takes the lobster. And then Malin orders something that's not on the menu. It's like Atlantic cod.
It's literally a junkie with his neck snapped comes wheeled in and he starts digging in.
Ooh, delicious. Malin says it's wonderful that she could join him. And Martha says, well, it's unlike Liz not to confirm. And I haven't been able to reach her. This is so unusual for her. We find out a bit more about their history. This is where we find out that Liz believes in independence for women to the point where she hates me for giving up my music career to raise her. They talk about more random topics, and Martha comments on Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma was a monk who sat and stared at a wall for like 9 years to find enlightenment and is credited, you laugh, this is a true story, allegedly.
Okay.
And he is credited as being the transmitter of Buddhism into China.
Oh, okay.
Who's the one who brought Buddhism into China.
You looked at a wall for 9 years.
Looked at a wall for 9 years to find enlightenment or something. I had to look that up too because they don't explain that either.
Are you sure he wasn't stoned?
I mean, it was China. He probably was, right? Ate all that opium?
Maybe, or else he's like, God damn it, I wish this was a television right now.
This is circa 600.
600. Yeah, wow. Back then, that was the exciting thing to do, was stare at a wall. Jesus.
Stare at a wall and die from infectious diseases.
Yeah.
Malin says, yeah, I used to watch him sit there hoping to be noticed by him.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
It was wild.
He's not even trying. He's just like shoving it in people's faces.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm a dragon.
Yeah. Like,
hey, I'm a dragon.
I'm immortal.
I tell you I'm a dragon.
I've been around for a long time.
Martha doesn't comment.
Of course she doesn't.
Nope.
I don't know if I would either, other than to tell him to shut the fuck up.
I mean, he's paying, so I don't want to say anything.
That's true. You don't want to offend your
Otherwise, I have to pay
host.
for the lobster.
Yeah.
The conversation then turns back to Liz. Where does she live? What does she do? Martha doesn't have her new address. Liz hadn't given it to her yet, but she works for FSS, Financial Systems Software.
Okay.
She's a computer designer, a programmer.
Right.
Or at least she used to, but Martha called them and was told that no one by that name worked there. Malin swears that he'll help Martha find Liz, and the two retire. Malin goes to his room and pulls a list of books off of his shelves. Martha goes to her room and undresses, and it mentions that she's naked, and then it cuts away.
That's usually what follows undressing.
Yeah.
Is you're naked.
Yeah, but there's no like, they mention the fact that she's naked, but they don't mention the fact that she goes to bed, that she goes into pajamas.
Usually,
just the chapter ends.
Yeah, usually it's a fact that informs another event or something.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, that's important because then this happens.
Doesn't come up.
No.
Nope.
She goes to bed.
Abrupt cut. Malin goes to his shelves, pulls books off of the shelves. There's like 5 different computer analyst books, and he proceeds to read.
Fuck off. Just fuck off. He's not going to become an expert in programming overnight.
Or is he?
No.
Or is he? He is.
Proceed.
The next day, Martha accompanies Malin up to his room and sees a small statue of a dragon holding a teacup and using its tail to hold a book in front of its face.
Okay.
It's the picture on the cover. Yeah.
So that's a statue. It's not him.
Correct.
Okay.
She comments on it, and Malin says, oh, it's Oolong, as he hands her some tea. And she's like, well, okay, but what about the statue? He says, no, it's Oolong. The statue's name is Oolong. And she's like, is that the name of the statue, or like the creator, or the dragon?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes.
It's actually a pig man from Dragon Ball.
Apparently. We're all Oolong. Everyone is Oolong.
I mean, Oolong from Dragon Ball could look like anything he wants. So
it's true.
It could be Oolong.
It's true. They go out on the town and try to find Liz. They stop at a computer shop where they meet a man named Fred Frisch. I assume that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Who was a student at Stanford when Liz studied there.
What a coincidence.
Yeah. He tells them that she used to work as a teaching assistant to Professor Carlo Peccolo in college. We got Oolong and Peccolo.
Yeah.
I didn't put that together until now. It's Peccolo.
Right.
But it's still close enough. And maybe Carlo knows where Liz went. They drive to Professor Peccolo's, and he says that the last time he'd heard from her was over a year ago, when she was considering leaving her job at FSS and going full consultant. So he said he advised against it because she didn't have a client base.
Right.
But he got the feeling she was going to go ahead with it anyway.
Okay.
So there's also a moment here that I didn't write down because I hated it.
Okay.
Where when they're at the computer shop with Fred Frisch, they walk in and Malin hands Martha a remote and says, speak into it, say go forward.
Okay.
And there's a little car on the ground. And she's like, you're just treating me like the butt of a joke. Man, this isn't going to do anything. And she says, go forward. And the car starts driving forward. It's like a voice activated remote control.
Why wouldn't it?
She then is so amused by that car that when Malin is talking to Fred about everything and learning about Professor Carlo and the fact that they went to Stanford together, she's zoned out of the conversation. She is not paying attention in the slightest.
What's distracting her?
The car.
In the shop?
In the shop. The little car that she's driving around in the shop. They are trying to find her daughter.
Yeah, she's just a fucking child now.
Yes.
She's like, oh, yeah!
And it makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
Right. It doesn't actually serve a purpose.
No.
It's, I would guess you're supposed to like the character for that because it's funny.
Maybe. But then they get back into the car and she's like, he went to Stanford, didn't he? And Malin's like, how did you know? And she's like, well, because he's blonde and hot like everyone else who goes to Stanford.
Fuck off. No.
And he's like, oh, you didn't actually hear when I said he went to Stanford? And she's like, no.
Oh my God.
What are you even doing there?
Yeah.
Why are you even there?
Is she an adult person?
Maybe.
She just screams dumbass to me.
Yeah.
She's like, this ocean looks different. I'm going to have a second date with a 700-year-old murderer. I'm going to play with this car while this stranger looks for my daughter.
Alleged murderer.
Alleged murderer.
And the murderer's looking for her daughter.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So Professor Piccolo had advised Liz not to go into consulting. They go to a tea shop to regroup and talk about what they learn. Malin asks why Martha won't go to the police yet. And she says, well, because Liz is spiteful. One time when she was little, this is Liz. One time when Liz was little, the police found her on the side of the road around the corner from her house. She was like walking home. The police found her and they thought she was lost because when they asked her where she lived and where she was going, she refused to answer.
Fuck the pigs.
So they took her to the police station and she still refused to say anything. So they're like, we got a lost kid. She's not telling us anything.
Right.
We have to take her with us. We can't just leave her here. Martha only found out because Liz didn't come home for dinner. And eventually she called the police and said, hey, my daughter's missing. And they're like, oh, she's here with us. She's not telling us anything. She says that the only reason Liz did that is because it was that none of their business where she lived.
Can I point out that is still way more helpful than what you're doing? Like, call the police, have them get her, and then just check in with the police, see if they have her.
Right.
That would literally solve your problem.
Right.
It doesn't matter how your daughter feels about it or what she says or does.
Right.
Okay.
Apparently, Liz never forgave the police.
Okay.
For picking her up and asking her questions.
Right.
Yeah. Real horrible people there.
Yeah.
They're the last place that Martha will go for help.
Well, it's not about where she'll go for help, though. You let them know she's missing and they look for her. Right?
There's also a line in here later that says, I tried to let the police know, but they told me that they won't do anything for 24 hours.
That's not true.
It's not true.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. The first 24 hours of a missing person case is the most important.
Right.
Any police officer will tell you that.
Yeah. Anyone who's watched 48 Hours Mystery knows that they hustle for 48 hours. And then after that, it's kind of like on the back burner.
Yeah. Like, bruh. Anyway.
I want to know where that trope started.
That's a good question.
Like, who the fuck started that shit?
Yeah. Probably something from Hollywood for drama purposes, right? Like,
yeah. Someone's like, I need help from the police, but then they're like, well, we need a reason for the police not to help her because then it would be over too quickly.
Exactly.
So we'll just throw that in.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. How many real life tragedies can be attributed to that misinformation?
Oh my God, I don't want to know that answer.
Probably a lot.
A lot. People who are like, you can't call until it's 24 hours later.
Fuck.
24 hours from when? From when you realize they're missing? From when they disappeared? From when they left your site?
Yeah.
When does that 24 hours start? Malin then says, I will help you find your daughter, and Martha accepts his help gratefully. Even though they'd already said that last night, and he'd been doing it.
Yeah.
And it's a waste of words.
Plus, you said they went to to have a cup of tea to discuss what they had learned.
Which was basically nothing.
Yeah, and also she was there when he was learning it. Like, she could have just paid attention.
Yeah, but no, she didn't. I don't recall her. I don't think she was distracted in the meeting with the professor. I think she was conscious for that one.
She was conscious?
That's the phrase I'm using. But with the computer guy, she wasn't. They drive back to the parking garage near the hotel.
Okay.
And they park a little bit further away, so they're walking from the garage to the hotel.
Yeah.
And Martha steps off a curb. A bus comes in front of her.
Okay.
And Malin, when the bus pulls away, Malin can't find her anymore. She's gone.
Okay.
She pulled like a vanishing act from any given thriller movie where somebody's chasing somebody else.
Why?
He goes to her room. She's not there. He goes to the front desk. She hasn't like closed her tab or anything like that. She's just vanished.
She probably got distracted by a fucking Hot Wheels rolling down the street.
Maybe.
She's like, ooh, and she went to check that out.
Maybe. So he's convinced she's missing now.
But I gotta wait 24 hours before I can
call the
report
police. Oh man. Mr. Long wakes up the next morning. This is Malin Long.
Yeah.
Wakes up the next morning and recalls his conversation with the police that he had the night before.
Okay.
Because he called the police when she went missing.
Good
for him.
Yeah.
They had no reason to believe him. He basically said, hey, this woman came to me and said her daughter was in trouble. I don't know either of them, but now she's missing too.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, did she, like, are you a creeper and she just stiffed you? Like, what's totally understandable. And he realizes that too.
Right.
Like, there's no reason for them to believe me. I sound crazy. I'm 700 years old.
Yeah. He didn't say that to him, did he?
No, as far as I know, no.
Okay.
He decides to continue his investigation with Floyd Rasmussen, who I will refer to as Roz.
Okay.
Who is the founder of FSS,
right.
Financial Systems, Services, Securities, whatever.
For shit's sake.
Founder of where Liz worked. He says that Liz was brilliant, way smarter than Carlo Peccolo. They also shake hands, and it comments from Roz's perspective that Malin's hand just feels a bit weird.
Okay.
He's like, I'm used to shaking. In his inner monologue, he says, I'm used to shaking all kinds of hands. Some are loose, some are like too firm, but this one just, the shape feels wrong.
He feels like he could give a good hand job.
Maybe. I listened to that blooper last night. That was hilarious. I forgot about that.
So he shakes his hand and he's like, scaly, giant talons that are digging into my flesh, cold, something off about this guy.
But no, the hand just something feels wrong about it, but he looks at it and it's a normal hand.
Okay.
So there's more talk about Liz and how good she is in that she had helped Rasmussen design half of a security system for a bank.
Okay.
Which Malin finds kind of weird. Like, why would you only design half of it?
Yeah, that's my question.
Roz says something which I cannot further verify or deny, but it sounds intriguing, which is that a bank security system is often designed by two different people on two different sides of the country because that way no one person has complete access to the system.
No, fuck you. Fuck you. If you have two people designing anything, there's going to be inconsistencies and problems.
Mm-hmm.
That is a terrible idea. Why? Okay, let's say you have one person design a security system.
Yeah.
Somebody breaks in a way that only someone with like very intimate knowledge of the system can do. You know who did it.
Yeah.
Like, why would you?
Exactly.
Oh my God. Okay.
I can see why they said that they do it this way. I don't believe that they actually do it this way.
No,
because there's also no way that you can build a second half of a code without integrating it with the first half.
Yeah, it's like I need to see the source code.
Yeah.
This is not going to work otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is just the author not even taking a second to think about what they wrote.
Yeah.
They're like, that sounds good. Just move on.
This is a key plot point.
No! Okay, whatever. Let's do this.
So Malin says that he's worried. He's trying to not arouse suspicion. So he's like, I mean, that's good. I'm glad she was that helpful. I'm looking for her to do something for me that's really time sensitive. So if you hear anything, like, let me know.
Right.
Doesn't say that she's actually missing or that her mother contacted him or anything like that. Rasmussen assures him, he says, don't worry, she'll turn up. Malin goes back to Friendly Computers, the store owned by Fred.
Okay. Fredly Computers?
Fredly Computers. Fred confirms that, yes, it is usual for system programmers to only program half of a security system for a bank. After all, that seems prudent, right? The author confirming hey, guys, please clap. We noticed something here about about Malin.
Okay.
There is a program playing on one of the computers, like in the display cases. The program is called Life. And I
actually know that.
Do you?
I took a programming class and actually made that program.
What do?
Okay, so it's you just program a set of rules for a display. And the display starts with, you can start it however you want. I think we had a specific shape we had to start with. And then according to the rules of the program, the display will have pixels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each pixel, as programming is running, each pixel has to check its neighbors. So the surrounding pixels.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a certain number of pixels, it will propagate into like more. But if there's too many, then it will die. And then if you program this, if you set it up correctly, it will run perpetually forever.
I see.
And it's a simulation. It's the roughest simulation of life possible, where it's like there's just enough to propagate. There's too few. You can't. There's too many. It's overcrowded and you die. Right. That's the idea. But then as you run the program, it's like this amorphous blob of pixels showing up and disappearing.
That puts a lot into context of what the book said.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Because here's what I got from the book. You click, a pixel spawns, it grows, and eventually something hits it and it dies.
Okay, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah. But Malin says in his inner monologue that this time he's not going to watch the cycle complete. This time he's going to save a life. And he pauses the simulation right before a pixel is going to hit another pixel and kill it.
That doesn't save it, though. You just stuck it in purgatory.
Yes.
It just exists. It doesn't grow or move or...
That is correct. And they continue that thought because after he leaves, we cut to Fred's perspective and it says that he walked over, he sees somebody paused life, so he hits continue and watches the pixel disappear. And it says the phrase, "No one who watched cared."
Huh. Yeah. It's kind of a statement on how there can be this tragedy that affects you, but the universe doesn't care. It just moves along.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very, very self-aware in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really, really cool. I liked that.
Huh.
We then cut to Mayland outside of Rostec, which is a company owned by Rasmussen, which they also call FSS, but it's Rostec.
Yeah, I thought those were separate.
So I think this is one of the inconsistencies, or I missed something. But
okay,
this is like I don't understand.
Right,
because this is the place where she's supposed to be working,
but they're not calling it Rostec.
But they're not calling it Rostec. They're calling it FSS. But now we cut to outside Rostec. The book calls it Rostec. So I don't know if that's an inconsistency or if I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
It implies that he is outside her workplace.
Right.
Maybe FSS is a sector of Rostec.
Could be.
Complex.
Could be.
Maybe.
It could be. He has a lot of different companies that he's built over the years.
Right, okay.
So it could be something like that. He is watching for Rossman. He wants to follow him home and find out a little more about him. But as he watches, a tall blonde woman walks out.
Ooh.
Who looks a lot like Martha, but younger.
Okay. So maybe her daughter.
Gotta be Liz.
Yeah.
He follows her instead because this is a much...
I don't really like Mei Long. He's just...
You made the same mistake I did. His name is not Mei Long. It is Mayland Long. And every single time I had to type his name, I typed Mei Long. Every single time.
I'm calling him Mei Long.
Hashtag Mei Long.
Yeah, hashtag Mei Long. He's a fucking creep. He needs to stop.
This is my favorite part of the book.
Okay.
Second favorite part of the book. So he starts following her. But she looks distressed as she's walking out. She's
because somebody's
anxious.
following her.
This is before he starts following her.
Okay.
As she's walking out of the building. She looks distressed, anxious, and very, very concerned. So he starts to follow her. We change to her perspective. This is Liz.
Right.
We find out it's Liz. Yay.
Okay.
She walks through her door. She closes it. She changes out of her suit. No mention that she's naked. And she pours herself a shot.
Okay.
And she hears something behind her. And she follows her first instinct, which is to throw the bottle of scotch at the noise.
That's a waste of scotch.
Mei Long catches it without issue. She freaks out. And he says, don't worry. I'm not the enemy here.
Dude, no. I'm going to try that. I'm going to follow some lady into her home. Uh-huh. And then if she attacks me, I'll be like, hey, it's not me you got to worry about, okay? Just see how that plays out.
Exactly. You can also do this next part, too.
Okay.
She's like, how did you get in here? He introduces himself. He says, my name is Mayland Long. She says, how did you get in here? And he says he climbed in through the window. And there's a funny interaction here.
Okay.
Because she's on the second floor.
Okay.
She says, that's impossible. And he says, I mean, I'm standing here.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Have a ladder? I mean, I don't know.
But just the fact that like some guy comes in, breaks into your house.
Yeah.
You ask how he got there. He's like, I climbed through the window. You're like, no, you didn't.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like,
yes, I did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I have no reason to lie to you.
He says that he was helping her mother and she sighs in relief. She says, oh, good. They said
that totally makes you breaking into my home okay.
That's not the reason for her sighing in relief.
Okay.
The reason for sighing in relief is that they said that they were going to kill Martha, but since she's with you, I know that's a lie.
Okay.
Mayland says, oh, she's not with me. She disappeared yesterday, so they are probably going to kill her.
Okay.
People's skills are zero.
Yeah, and also
zero.
Why are they trusting him at all?
I don't know.
Why are they giving him time to speak?
There is something that's like, they go through a thing that's like, tell me something that only Martha would know about me. And I thought, oh, this would be a great opportunity to use that story about the police.
Okay, yeah.
That's not what they use.
No?
No. She's just like, you hate your mother, you wish she stayed a musician. And he's like, and Liz is like, you got that from Piccolo. I told him that.
Yeah.
And I told Roz that. Everybody knows that. And then he's like, says some other BS. And she's like, okay, I guess you're cool. Like,
yeah, that would have been a perfect moment for the
I'm
police
saying,
story.
like, this is the one thing that she told you about her daughter.
Right. That she probably wouldn't tell a lot of people, you know?
Yeah. But he's like, you went to Stanford. You went to college with Fred Frisch.
And like public information, right?
Yeah. Except I think the Fred Frisch part is the part that gets her. Because she's like, you know what? There was somebody named Fred Frisch in my class. I don't remember him. Oh, I'm doing Fred a little dirty here. Dude has a rockin' mustache.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Just banging, rockin' mustache.
His mustache is banging people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So he says, who are they? He said, they were going to kill her.
Right.
Liz spills the details. She had designed half of, so when she was working with Carlo Peccolo as his teacher's assistant, she had been doing all his work for him. Because that's what you do when you're a professor with a teacher's assistant who's better than you.
Right.
You pawn everything off on them because you're a terrible person. He had gotten a call about a job designing a bank security system.
Okay.
So he had her design half of a bank security system.
Okay.
She did. She coded it to look like his work because different programmers have different styles.
Yeah, totally.
So she imitated his style, which she always did.
Okay.
Put his name on it and sent it off.
Oh, okay.
A little bit later, she goes to work for FSS. They get a call. Hey, we need somebody to design half a bank security system.
Right.
This is the second half. She tells Ross, hey, I designed the first half of this. I don't want to do this.
Right.
Ross says, we need the contract. And the fact that you told me about this means that I trust you to not do anything.
Okay.
So we're going to take this contract and you're going to do it.
Okay.
So then, after raising that concern, for some goddamn reason, she designs a little game in the program.
What?
Wait.
Okay.
That creates a dummy account.
Okay.
And transfers $1,000 from the bank's funds
Right.
into that dummy account a month.
Okay.
It's not stealing because it's still in the bank's account. Nobody's withdrawing it. It's just going there, and she did it as a practical joke.
No.
After raising those concerns about why she wouldn't be good to do that project because she'd worked on it, now she's putting little things like that in it.
Yeah, so she's being super professional and then not professional at all.
Exactly.
A minute later.
Exactly. It gets better.
Okay.
She tells Roz about this. And Roz is like, that's hilarious.
God damn it.
But what if you made it a little more than $1,000 a month?
No! This is money. You don't fuck around with money.
These are numbers.
that correlates to money.
Everything was well and good. It was hilarious in their own inner joke.
Okay.
Until some asshole named Threve.
I'm sorry?
Threve. His name is Threve.
Threve.
Which I am convinced is only his name because he is the third accomplice in this thing. And he was like, Threve. That works.
What about Thurge?
I like Thurge.
I like that better.
I like Thurge. No, Threve. Threve found this little program.
This sounds like a Covfefe thing.
It totally does.
Threve.
He has a last name, but I don't remember what it is, like Johnson or something like that.
Threve Forv.
Brett Favre. So Threve goes to Roz and says, hey, I see what you're doing here. Nobody's noticed. It's been X amount of time.
Right.
What if we just made a withdrawal?
No.
What if we just went to the bank and withdrew funds? I mean, it's a real account. It's set up under a name, so you can have Liz go to the bank, imitate the name of this person, and withdraw the funds, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah. Her name is all over it.
Well, it's not. She used a fake name.
She used her mom's name.
No, she used a name as like Irma something.
Oh.
Yeah. So all she had to do was go to the bank, make a withdrawal as that fake person, and that's it. The funds were hers.
Mm-hmm.
So she did. And they split the money. They had wild parties.
How much was it?
A couple $100,000.
Wow. Okay. Then.
Over the course of time. Not all at once. This is also the 80s, so a lot of the current financial regulations they have don't exist.
Okay.
Liz finds out through somehow, I don't know how, that the bank is going to be audited in a couple weeks.
What?
She somehow finds out. I don't know how, because most banks don't know when they're going to be audited.
Right.
Like,
that's supposed to be like a surprise thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are audits you know about, but
okay.
But like the big ones and everything like that, like you know about them and you need to get ready for them. You don't tell people shit.
Right. No, that's very privileged information.
Yeah. So she knows they're going to get audited somehow.
Okay.
And she's like, oh no, they're going to see where these funds came from. My fake name is on them. I'm the one who went to get them. I'm the one who programmed this. I'm the only one who's going to get in trouble.
She didn't wear a disguise when she went and got him?
Apparently not.
What? Oh, what's the point of a fake name and all that if you're just going to walk in there as yourself?
Don't know. There's so much wrong with this. No, you have a fake name, but you don't have a disguise. But you're the programmer who created all of this.
Oh.
You're the only one who knows this account exists.
Why not get, oh my God, she's sticking all of her fingers in this pie.
Yes.
She literally set up the account.
Yeah.
She could have had someone else go in there.
Yeah.
Disguise.
Yeah. She's putting all of her fingers in this pie that she said, hey, if you give this to me, I can put all of my fingers in this pie.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it. And they're like, no, it's fine. You won't do that. And she's like, okay, I did it.
Oh my God. God damn it.
Yeah. Now, she wants out because she's the one in trouble.
Guess what, bitch? It's too late.
Rasmussen and Three have said no.
Okay.
They're like, we're not letting you out of this. You're not blaming us. Yeah, they're not going to lose anything.
Right.
So they said, no, you're in. So she typed a letter detailing their full plans and gave it to her lawyer.
Okay.
In a lockbox and said, if I don't check in every Monday by this time, publish it.
Okay.
Like, take action on this. And then she told Threve and Roz that.
Okay.
Like, I gave them this letter.
Yeah.
If I don't check in, they're going to do something. And they're like, okay, how's your mom doing? They kidnapped her mom.
Wait, does she have any proof that they're involved?
No.
Because she's doing
just
all the work and just
her word.
handing it to them.
Yeah.
So if I were them, I'd be like, I mean, you could do it, but you can't touch me.
At the worst, you're going to get me audited by the IRS.
Yeah.
And, no, my billions of dollars that I have from this company that I own, what's another 100,000?
Yeah, oh my God. Okay, so they kidnap her mom.
They kidnap her mom. They're like, we're going to kill your mom if you don't give us that letter.
Just like Batman v Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when Mei Long is talking to Liz,
right,
they say, you need to get us the letter tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So that's why she looked so distressed when she left the office. Incidentally, I believe, though it's not explained, that she is employed under that fake name.
Okay, that's why he couldn't find record of it.
That's why Martha couldn't find record of her working there.
Okay.
I think. It's not explained.
So that was before she did all this scheme, right?
Right. Which I don't know if they then... It's not explained. I'm guessing they let her go under her real name and then hired this fake name, which is just her.
Okay. But oh my God. This is bad either way. So either you were working there under this fake name and then you use the same fake name that you're employed under for this joke.
Right.
Or you set up this whole joke account with that name and thought it would be smart to use that name for employment.
Yes. The whole thing doesn't make sense.
I mean, she's just like her mom. Like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's very true. That's very true.
They're both fucking stupid.
So, Malin's like, well, we're going to give them a fake letter because they're absolutely going to kill her because they have to now because she knows.
Okay.
She doesn't, unless they tell her, but she's been kidnapped. So, Liz then comes up with this, which says the letter can't be faked because it was typed unprinted on this specific machine. And back in the day, that was as good as a signature. So if they faked it or typed it on some other machine...
Did she tell them that, though?
She used the computer in Roz's office to do it.
But does he know that?
I don't... Yes, he does.
Why?
Because she told him.
Why?
Because she's a dumbass.
Holy shit.
So if they fake it, Roz is going to know.
This might be better than One Little Mistake.
It might be. There's only one solution. Malin has to find out where Martha is, and Liz has to stay put, or her mother is dead. He says he will help her, and that his only fee is that he can sleep at her place until nightfall.
Okay.
He hadn't slept last night because he was reading about computer. Or no, last night was the night Martha was kidnapped, so he was worried about her. The night before, he was reading about computers.
Okay.
So it's been like 3 days since he slept. Malin says that he hadn't, this is before he goes in the water, but he says he hadn't slept in days, and he doesn't have the time to drive back to his hotel room to sleep and then come back, because they're a little bit away from Frisco. She drives in for work. So he goes to sleep. He wakes up at night, and I didn't really talk about this before, but he's very much the gentleman. He's always dressed in a suit with a white shirt, very, very good manners, like basically Kingsman stuff. It's really interesting.
Okay.
He's like, so I'm going to go now. And she's like, you're not going in that because your shirt practically glows in the dark.
Right.
So she gives him a dark gray sweatshirt and some blue jeans. And she's like, if you ever have to like run or climb a fence or something, you're not going to do it in a suit. Wear these blue jeans. And he's like, they're never going to fit.
He climbed in through a second-story window in a suit.
Yes.
Probably fine.
Probably. He's like, these clothes are never going to fit. They fit.
Okay.
That's as much dialogue and interaction as we get about the clothes not fitting. It says they are never going to fit. They fit.
Is that supposed to be a statement?
I don't know.
On self-image or?
I don't think it's supposed to be anything.
Okay.
But now he's dressed in a gray sweatshirt and blue jeans.
Okay, so he's the fugitive now.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care.
As he leaves, she says, what can I do? And he says, well, you can't come with me because they're going to call you to make sure you're still there.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll think you scattered and they will kill your mother.
Okay.
So you need to stay here in case the phone rings. And she's like, okay, well, do I wait? What do I do? And he has a line which I really enjoy. He says, sleep if you can. If not, drink scotch or pray. Survive in your own way. I cannot know what's best for you.
It's okay.
It's a very interesting line. I like that survive in your own way thing. We cut. Martha wakes up with her hands bound, dizzy and nauseous. There's a line here that says, well, of course she's nauseous because dizziness and nauseous go together. She has trouble remembering at first, but eventually she realizes she's been kidnapped. She says out loud to the room that she has to go to the bathroom, and a voice behind her says, it's down the hall. She's like, well, I can't do anything with my hands bound. Would you mind? So he cuts her hands loose.
Okay.
And she goes to the bathroom. He stays outside the door. And then she comes back. She sees a man in a red shirt, mostly unbuttoned, with a gold medallion.
Okay.
Total pimp. We then cut to Malin as it starts to rain. He is driving. Liz had given him a map to Roz's place as well as Threve's apartment.
Okay.
And he figured he should start with the house. The biggest, it probably has the most place to hide somebody. He crawls up to the house, afraid of his silhouette on the whitewashed stone, and enters through a back patio door.
So he's going total hitman here.
Pretty much.
And just like sneaking in.
Yeah.
Okay.
A cat hisses at him, and he literally makes a cat sound and starts to purr, and the cat headbutts him and is like, oh, pet me.
Nice.
Yeah. So a big thing here that he's mentioned a couple of times that I didn't think was going to be a big thing is that he loves languages.
Okay.
Languages are his thing.
So he's polyglottal.
He's polyglottal. I would say he's omniglottal because he's talking to the cat.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. At that moment, a light comes on and Madeline looks up to see the barrel of a 22 pointed at him. Roz had found him.
22.
It's a 22.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
You pussy bitch.
Yeah. Martha is now seated on a floor in the full lotus position where she had been for most of the day. So she was kidnapped, right? Then he went to bed and this is most of this day, most of the next day. She gets really thirsty and the kidnapper gets up and goes to the fridge. She sees he has a six-pack. She's like, hey, do you mind getting me one? And he says, nah, I don't want to waste it.
Right.
And she, at that moment, realizes, oh, he's going to kill me. She doesn't ask about Mayland. It makes a point of this. She does not ask about Mayland for fear that they didn't know he was involved.
Okay.
She's so proud of herself for that.
She fucking better be. That's the one goddamn good thing she's done this whole book.
We cut back to Mayland later that night. Roz is pointing the gun at Mayland. He says, if it isn't Mr. Long. Mayland says, yes, now can I stand up? Roz is like, sure. And he takes a step back, which I appreciate.
Okay.
To put distance because he has a gun.
Right.
Which is very smart.
Right.
If you're holding a gun on someone.
Yeah, firearms are long-range weapons. You don't need to press it up to someone's back.
I loved that so much. I'm so happy about that. There's some posturing here of going back and forth, and Roz fires the gun just as Mayland dives out of the way.
Okay.
So Roz exhales and pulls the trigger, and at the start of the exhale, Mayland realizes what's happening and he dives.
Right.
There's a whole hide-and-seek sequence here that basically Mayland escapes upstairs, tears the light switch out of the wall.
Damn.
Yeah. Escapes into a crawl space.
Okay.
And Roz follows him upstairs, clears the area that he's in, and then goes to the crawl space door and shoots through it a few times.
Okay.
And then opens the door and then systematically starts firing in different places because he can't see inside because it's night, it's raining, and there's no light.
Meantime, the neighbors are like, dear Jesus, get the police on the phone now.
Well, there's a line later that because it's a thunderstorm and everything and it's a 22, Mayland says, I had never known a gun could be so quiet.
Yeah, no, that is true. 22s are not very loud.
They're not. And it's thunderstorming. And he does live on a big ass property as well. So there are neighbors, but
Okay.
that part was very well thought out.
Kind of, but if I heard a 22 in a thunderstorm, I would know a fucking 22.
Yeah. I mean, the question then is, do the rich kids who live next to him know what a 22 sounds like? Which
yeah.
they may not. We don't know.
Or care.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess he's shooting a 22 on his property. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
I'll let it slide.
This is my favorite part.
Okay.
So as he's systematically firing down the crawl space, because he can't see, he's kind of covering left, right, left, right, left, right. Mayland is lying down, kind of crouched. Roz shoots him in the right shoulder,
Okay.
clipping his collarbone, rendering his right arm useless.
Okay.
So basically went through, tore out, came out out here somewhere and made all this stuff not work. Roz hears a sound behind him.
Okay.
And he turns and Mayland recognizes it as the sound of the cat.
Right.
Roz fires and the cat goes silent.
So he killed the cat.
He killed his own cat
Okay.
because he could not distinguish it from a man, I guess.
Was it his cat?
It was his cat.
Oh, I thought it was a stray.
Nope, it's Roz's cat.
Okay.
His name was Blanco. He was white.
Nice.
Yeah. Mayland, when Roz's back is turned, Mayland manages to dart downstairs and then run outside.
Okay.
Roz kind of sees him, senses him go behind him and turns and fires but misses. And then when Mayland gets outside, he disappears into the woods.
Okay.
Roz doesn't follow him. Roz leaves his house, gets in his car, and drives off somewhere.
Leaving Martha?
We hadn't found Martha.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking she was in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Mayland passes out in the woods from blood loss
Okay.
in the middle of a rainstorm.
He's fucking dead.
One would think. Eventually, he wakes up and he makes his way to his car. He's a bit in a crisis over what to do because he has followed all of his leads except for going to Threve's place.
Okay.
He goes to Threve's place. I don't know why he had a crisis there.
I don't know. Yeah.
Nothing's working. I don't know what's going on. All I have is this one lead.
It's like, all right, there's these 3 apartments that they could possibly be. And then after checking 2 of them, he's like, God damn it, what do I do now?
That's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
So the man with Martha, it is Threve, but we find that out in a minute,
Okay.
pulls out a tape recorder and demands Martha tell Liz that she's okay and to follow whatever instructions she's given.
Okay.
So, like a hostage tape.
Right.
I'm okay. They didn't hurt me, yada, yada. Martha refuses. He beats the living shit out of her.
She had living shit inside of her?
She did. Now she doesn't.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's the interesting part of the story.
Exactly. They don't explain it. He eventually gets tired of beating her and turns his back to her and leans against the wall.
Okay.
And she grabs the tape recorder, which is on a little string, like a wrist strap.
Okay.
She grabs it by the wrist strap, swings it, and hits him in the back of the head, which knocks him to the ground, but doesn't knock him out because it's a plastic tape recorder.
It's plastic, yeah.
Which they also mention.
Okay.
Specifically that it knocks him to the ground, but doesn't knock him out because it's a plastic tape
Even
recorder.
knocking someone to the ground is like,
I don't know. If I got beamed in the back of the head by a tape recorder, I may stumble a bit, especially if I'm already tired from beating the living shit out of someone.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
He beat her until he was tired.
Yep.
And that wasn't enough for her to
Then he turned his back on the unbound hostage.
yeah. He just sucks, I guess.
He shouts, "I'll kill you," and strangles her.
Okay.
Just as the door opens and Roz's face pops in, he looks at Martha and says, "Jesus, Threve, what did you do that for?"
Oh, what's up, Threves? You strangling a bitch? Sorry, I'll be back in a minute.
We're meant to believe here that Martha's dead.
Right.
I didn't get that at all when I read the book.
No.
I was very confused by what happens next.
Okay.
Yep. Letting you know. We cut briefly to Elizabeth, who is thinking about Madeline Long, and she's basically staring at his shirt and thinking that he gives her hope. It's a weird few pages.
I don't understand Mei Long's connection to them.
No. He basically said, "Hey, I've told you. Hey, I'll help you find your daughter. Hey, I'll really help you find your daughter.
Why?
Hey, daughter, I told your mother that I would help her find you. So now I'm going to help you find her."
Like, what? But why did he decide to do that?
Because Martha has the Tao.
Oh, that's right.
Doesn't come up again.
Oh, no. Well, Taoism.
There's a little bit that's explained, but
Taoism is a thing.
Taoism is a thing. Taoism is religion.
Yeah.
There's Taoism, Buddhism, and another one.
I guess Tao is related to that, maybe. Who
Mm.
knows?
Fuck this line. Malin is now driving on a rain-slicked road The rain's cleared up, but it's not wet. With only one usable hand. He arrives at Threve's apartment, which is described as, quote, a white, impregnable virgin of a building.
Why even say it that way?
Having no windows on the ground floor. End quote.
That's despicable. That's fucking filthy. I hate that.
There's one other thing that happens, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
That's in a little bit. So, so here's the note. So he was shot in the right shoulder.
Right.
Making his right arm useless.
Right.
So he goes to the back of this building.
Okay.
Finds an unlocked door that leads to a garbage room.
Why are all their doors unlocked? You have a hostage.
He stuffs his, quote, useless left hand.
Okay.
Left hand.
Right. Oh, shit.
Uh-huh.
It hit me.
Yep.
Okay, his useless left hand.
So his left hand is now useless. He stuffs it into his pants pocket to keep it from moving around.
Okay.
Picks up a garbage bag and walks into the building with it.
Okay.
He takes the elevator to the correct floor, and as he's getting out, someone shouts to hold the elevator. He obliges, using the bag to cover the bloodstains on his sweatshirt.
Okay.
So he'd been shot, he's been bleeding profusely, so he uses the bag to kind of like hide that. He drops the bag outside Threve's door and forces it open. Inside, he doesn't find anything, but stares at a wall of mirrors that Threve has for some reason because it's the 80s.
Right.
And sees his own reflection with his left hand stuffed into his pocket. He picks up a paper with a couple of Threve's old addresses on it with his right hand, which is so we're so consistent within this inconsistency.
Yeah.
Stuffs it into his pocket. He gets into his car, looks at the paper. One of the addresses is close by. This is the most bullshit contrivance I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere. They just wrote down these addresses.
He arrives at the building. He knows it's the right one because it has Rosman's name stretched on the outside.
Why?
Or stenciled on the outside.
Why?
This was one of his old, Ros owned a lot of companies, and this is one of his old company headquarters.
Okay.
But it's basically just a shed somewhere that he used as a building.
So it's not operating anymore?
No.
Okay. If you're going to keep... if you're going to keep a hostage...
Uh-huh. Don't keep it somewhere that you own?
Yeah, maybe not... these people are such amateurs.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they are.
If you're going to break the law, you need to take every precaution to distance your identity from everything involved with the crime.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know why. He's cocky.
Very. Roz breaks in. I'm sorry. Maylong breaks in.
Okay, I was confused there for a second.
Nope. To find the building empty. But the sink is damp.
Okay.
And among some other graffiti on the wall in the bathroom, there is a Buddhist symbol for nothing, which is basically a giant O with a dot in the middle.
Okay.
Drawn in lipstick on the wall.
He looks at it and he's like, they went to Target.
Apparently, Threve didn't check the bathroom after Martha had used it. That's because she graffitied a giant lipstick circle on the wall. Back to the amateur point.
Yeah, okay.
He left her alone.
He left her alone. He didn't
search her because she had lipstick.
Yeah, he didn't search her. He didn't check the space, even though it's on the fucking wall.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not knowing where else to turn, so he knew she was there, but now she's gone.
Okay.
And he's out of leads. He drives to Fred Frisch's house.
Okay.
Which he found, and wakes him up. It is now 2:45 in the morning. He tells him what happened. Fred, luckily, has a merit badge in first aid as a Boy Scout, so he cuts the sweatshirt off Malin and completely cleans the wound.
Okay, just take the bullet out?
There is an exit wound.
Okay, so it went through.
Yep, through and through.
Okay.
So he unbandages. There's a part where Fred goes to put a cold compress on the wound.
Yeah.
And Malin doesn't realize what he's doing because he's so exhausted and tired and drained of blood. He grabs Fred's arm and bruises it just by grabbing it.
Okay.
Fred freaks out and Malin's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And Fred's like, okay, but I'm going to have to do that again. But now you know I'm going to do it.
Don't do that.
So Malin takes his punishments as he will.
Okay. He's cleaning the wound and he's like, man, your bones look a lot like dragon bones. That's interesting.
There is a comment where Malin weighs about half as much as you would expect. And there's a comment that says it's almost like his bones were hollow like a bird's.
Okay. I mean,
that's speculation.
I think the majority of a human's weight is in muscle, not bones.
Yeah.
So, like, it wouldn't be half as much weight.
I'm saying.
He'd be like 30 pounds lighter, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I also, that's an interesting thought to me that dragons have hollow bones.
They would have to.
Never thought about it.
If they're going to fly, they have to.
Yeah. Malin passes out.
Okay.
He wakes up and Fred basically says, hey, I'm going to go with you. We need to type that letter on a specific machine, so we have to go to Rosman's HQ.
I forgot about that shit.
Yeah. So in the car on the way, they talk about types of people. Liz wanted to be a wizard. Someone who the rules didn't apply to.
What?
See, but there's other type of people who want to be unicorns.
What?
And the only explanation given is, well, something about virginity, but virginity is not my crowd.
What are they talking about?
And then there are people who want to be dragons. They want raw power. They want to be able to do what they want when they want.
Is this a tabletop game they're talking about?
I'm saying.
Is this the Klansman ranks? Like, what are they talking about?
They're just types of people.
No, that's not types of people. He's a fucking wizard. That dude's a dragon.
Some people think the rules don't apply to them. Some people are virgins. Those are the two distinct classes of people.
A virgin is not a type of person. It's a person who has not had a specific experience in their life.
I mean,
that is not a classification of personality.
But there's also dragons who are people who want raw power. They want to do what they want when they want it.
Dragging these nuts across your face.
I'm saying. You ever heard about that Mind Goblin game that's coming out?
No, I have not.
Mind Goblin D's nuts.
God damn it. God damn it.
Malin says Chinese imperial dragons are different than other dragons. They have 5 toes.
Wait, okay. All right.
Hold up.
Wait, doesn't everybody have 5 toes?
People do, yes, but not dragons.
But I'm so confused.
So he's talking about the actual dragon. He's saying Chinese imperial dragons are different than other dragons because other dragons want raw power and they want to do what they want when they want. Chinese dragons have 5 toes on each foot, which distinguishes them because it allows them to hold a pen to write poetry and to read a book.
But is he talking about people still, or is he talking about actual dragons?
No, he's talking about literal dragons.
How did that jump from people to dragons?
Because dragon is a type of person, right?
but it's not.
There are people who want to be dragons.
No, I mean, maybe.
In this conversation, that's the flow of this conversation, is people want to be dragons. Dragons want raw power. And Malin says, well, not all dragons are like that.
This is the most, meth-fueled conversation I've ever fucking heard.
The only thing that I can get about this book is that it was written by a Scottish guy, because his last name's McAvoy, who wanted to be Chinese.
I guess.
That's the only thing that I can understand about this book. And I don't even know if that's true, but it doesn't make sense. So the flow of the conversation, right, is there's different types of people. One of the types of people is a dragon.
Okay.
Because they want raw power and they want to be brutes.
I got that.
But Malin's like, yo, not all dragons are bad like that. Not all dragons do that. Like Chinese dragons are learned, for example. They want information. They want to learn things.
Hashtag not all dragons.
Hashtag not all dragons. And Fred says, well, don't they still eat people? And Malin was like, yeah, sometimes, but people also hunted dragons too.
Oh my God. He's trying to justify murder now.
Yeah. They pull up to Roz's headquarters and they find a third shift working that they weren't expecting. They didn't realize that. They go to the guard, who Malin recognizes as having a native Mexican accent. And Fred uses a lot of big computer words saying they need to fix what is happening now or Roz will lose all his money.
They need to hack into the mainframe.
Basically, Malin offers to translate to Spanish, and Fred's like, no, I need him confused.
Oh, okay.
The guard relents and says, you can go in, but on your way out, I'm going to search you.
Right, okay.
Now we come to a scene of old computer drama. It is vague enough that I don't know exactly what happened, but specific enough that I don't know exactly what happened.
Okay.
All I know is Fred recognized the model of computer, but didn't know how to work it, so he figures it out and finds a copy of the actual letter that Liz printed on the secretary's computer. Evidently, she had forgotten she saved it there.
Oh my God!
So yeah, that's lucky.
These people are fucking...
Yeah, they're dumb.
Also, I don't know how to use this kind of computer. What?
Well, he's like, I don't know this specific model. I've never used it, but I sell computers and I program computers, so I'm pretty good with computers, so I can figure it out.
I mean,
and then he instantly does it.
Their GUI is all pretty similar, right?
Back in the day, was it?
I mean, this is 80s, so I don't know, but
83 is when this was copyrighted.
Maybe I'm spoiled, and
I mean, we are.
Yeah,
let's be fair, especially in computer technology, but. But yeah, so that's really lucky. They found the letter. So he and Malin leave, and as they go, the guard frisks Fred and looks at Malin, and Malin says, "Yo no tengo nada." Which is, I don't have anything.
Right, yeah.
And the guard says, lo creo, which means, yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Never mind the fact that they did. And he's a terrible guard because they had the letter.
That's true.
Lo creo actually means I believe it.
But a letter, like it's paper.
Mm-hmm.
So that you wouldn't like feel it frisking someone, would you? If it's just a single fold
might make
of
a
paper,
crinkling sound, depending on how.
Fold it really well. I don't know if it would make sound.
Depends. It depends. It depends on everything. We're not giving any specifics. Fred drives this time because he's like, you're about to like pass out again from blood loss. Like, let me drive.
Right.
And there's a part here where Malin is so proud that his Citron is an automatic, but he's not sure if Fred will get used to that. But Fred takes off because he's a quick learner.
Okay.
So apparently in the 80s, automatics were harder to drive than sticks.
Okay. I don't know.
That's not my area of none of this is my area of expertise.
I've never heard that about automatics.
Me neither. They drive back to the shop, and Malin tries to ditch Fred by taking the keys from Fred, and then as Fred is unlocking the door, he tries to get in the driver's seat and drive away. But Fred kind of catches on because he realizes Malin is behind him, so he opens the passenger door and starts to get in. And he's like, "You're not leaving without me."
Right.
And Malin's like, "I am." And he uses his right arm again to push Fred out of the car.
So I'm assuming the author is just settled on his left shoulder and arm being useless now.
For now.
Okay, for now. Okay.
Malin drives back to Liz's apartment and climbs through her window to find Roz holding a gun to a bound Liz. Malin says, "Why would you kill us?" Or he says, "Why would you kill us? Like, it's a fine line between theft and murder."
Right.
Roz says, "Oh, yeah, no, you're right, but my partner already crossed that line. See, I didn't want to, but, I mean, there we are. Martha's dead."
Right, yeah.
There's some posturing now. What now? Where will you go? What are you going to do? Etc. The line literally says, "Why would I tell you?" And he says, "Because you're going to kill us anyway. Why not?" That's the author's justification for why he monologues.
Yeah.
That's not a good justification.
No.
The plan is to take Rosman's yacht to a city that has a port where Threve has a Cessna, an airplane, that they will use to escape. They're going to take Malin and Liz with them for the first part, and then dump them in the ocean, tied to cinder blocks somewhere.
Which ocean, though?
Off of the yacht.
Will she be able to tell which ocean just by looking?
Well, Martha's already dead.
Okay, that's right.
So she doesn't have to worry about it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like she's alive, and that's going to be a big part at the end, where she's like, "Where are we? Oh, we're in the Pacific Ocean."
He guides Malin and Liz down to the car and tells Malin to get in the trunk. Malin says no, and Rosman starts to strangle Liz. Then Malin says, "Hey, there's no need for that," and then gets in the trunk. Just get in the trunk. Do it or don't.
What the fuck?
Roz pistol whips him in the back of the head, because why not?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, he kind of deserved that, if I'm being honest here. Malin wakes up to the bumping and jostling of the car. He says in his weakened state, he doesn't think he could break the lock. And Liz is like, "Well, no, it's steel. You can't break the lock."
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, I have a few tricks up my sleeve, but not now." Until Roz pulls a hard turn and throws Malin into Liz's arms. They are linked for a second, and in that second, Malin starts to laugh. He punches through the lock with...
What?
He punches through the lock because he's horny. The power of horniness overcomes all.
He's like, "Hey, yo!" and his boner just explodes through the roof of the fucking... Is this the secret story of the founder of baddragon.com?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know. He tells Liz that he's lived long and gotten his fortune through gold. So now the trunk is open, but Roz is driving so fast that if they were to jump out, they would die.
So let's chat.
While
the door is like flying in the breeze.
Yeah. They test it where they try to open it a bit to jump, and Roz accelerates.
Okay.
And instead of falling out like they should, they just sit back down.
Okay.
Because he's now going too fast.
I feel like I would chance jumping out.
Same.
Because one is certain death.
Yeah.
And the other is you have a chance.
They've already said they're going to kill you.
Yeah. Also, I'm assuming the trunk has like a carpet on the bottom. So rip that up, wrap yourselves in it, and jump out.
Yeah. You would think.
Or wave down a cop, or I don't know, just do something.
Yeah. It also says that he runs red lights and everything, so like he's not stopping to give them a chance. So that part's out.
That's really stupid if you have people in your trunk to blow lights and...
They mentioned that he never obeys traffic laws if he thinks he can get away with it.
Okay.
And apparently he can get away with it.
I mean, there's a lot of people like that, so...
Well, it's true.
Yeah, not me. I'm a good boy.
Oh, me too. He tells Liz that he's lived long and he's gotten his fortune through gold. She asks if it was oil. He says, no, it was gold.
Okay.
All Liz ever wanted, he had. The ability to do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Which is what they called a dragon before, but they said she wanted to be a wizard, so I don't know.
Also, couldn't she just do that before?
She didn't have the money to facilitate not working.
But she got a bunch of money from the account thing.
Yeah, but she spent it because she had to party. Not explained. She kisses him.
Why?
And he responds, no. I'm in love with your mother.
That's a turnoff.
So,
wow.
They're thrown together. He gets horny, punches a log. She's like, I love you. And he's like, not today.
Not today? It sounded like not ever.
Not until your mother dies.
Ugh.
No, I didn't say that.
But this is so fucking loony.
Well, the reason is because she fulfilled a prophecy about him, the mother.
Okay.
Yep. He would lose all his possessions in search of what he wanted. That's the explanation we get.
Okay.
They brace to jump, but at that moment, Roz accelerates to a speed that would kill them if they attempted it. Malin says, hey, you remember Fred Frisch, the computer guy?
Yeah.
He saved my life, and he's pretty cool, and he also had a crush on you, which I forgot to mention he did say that. Fred said that.
Okay.
Like, I used to have a crush on Liz.
Nice. He's sucking her up.
So yeah, he's playing wingman. And Liz is like, oh, okay.
Oh, God. That's so fucking awkward.
I wrote here in the notes, I have no idea what I just read.
Yeah, it's...
Something about a prophecy. Prophecy exists that there was an interaction earlier where Martha, right before she disappears, she gives a rose to Mayland.
Okay.
But it doesn't explain anything about that. And then later it says she fulfilled the prophecy because she gave him a rose.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything. There's no explanation. She gave me a rose. My prophecy is fulfilled.
He's never been given a rose before?
I think it's supposed to be symbolism, but it's shit. And I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
Fred, in his apartment, gives up cleaning his bloody couch cushions and determines that no, he will not go quietly. He will follow Mr. Long. He has the tape from the recorder that Long had stolen from the shed Martha escaped.
Yeah.
And he plays it, and he takes it out of the machine. To the police, I guess. We don't know. But that tape, as he listens to it, is the recording of Martha being beaten. Because she's supposed to be saying, I'm fine, yada yada. And Malin found that tape, stuck in his pocket, and then gave it to Fred.
Okay.
I skipped that part too, because in the rest of the drama, it didn't seem... I didn't think it was going to come up, because nothing else comes up.
It's very odd.
Yeah. Back with our kidnapped duo, Malin lifts Liz and throws her into a bush on the side of the road using only one arm.
Okay.
Roz drives out to the marina and parks and gets out, bracing a pistol at the trunk. Threve joins him, and Malin steps out. There's a scuffle, and Malin says he's only here to verify that Threve did kill Martha. Roz knocks him on the head again and ties him up next to Martha's corpse, that is already weighted with a cinder block.
Okay.
Only, as Malin looks, she's alive.
Yes.
No one else has noticed. He wakes her and he says, hey, I have to ask you a question. I should have asked you when we first met. I love you. Is that all right?
Okay. Is that all right?
That's the question. Is that all right? That's the prophecy ending question.
Also, he woke her up right in front of everyone.
Later, they come from another area on the boat, so I'm assuming they left, but I don't remember it saying that they left.
Okay.
So yes. She says she loves him too, and she's so glad, and he is so glad that he breaks his bonds with a single swipe, including wrenching his broken wrist apart.
What?
With his useless arm, he just pulls his arms apart and breaks his bonds.
So his arm is, in pieces now.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Threve comes to see what the ruckus is, and Malin grabs him by the throat and snaps his neck.
Okay.
Just like the junkie.
Just like the junkie.
Yep. Then Roz appears with his gun. Malin says, you don't have to kill anyone now. The only death here is on my hands. Martha's alive.
Right.
Martha ties up Roz. Roz gives up.
Okay.
We cut to later, indeterminate amount of time later. Martha and Malin are talking about Liz. She's out without bail because she had turned herself in. Malin's called to the police earlier when Martha disappeared, combined with Fred's story and the tape he recovered, along with Liz's testimony, showed good signs for her to avoid jail time. That's bullshit.
Yeah, no, that you still did a crime. You still did a big crime.
Fred and Liz click together, and we get Malin's story. See, he's a dragon who sought truth. He sought what it was to be a man. And throughout the years, he had many teachers, but one specifically said that when he found the answer, he would lose all he had. That man died, and Malin woke in the morning in human form that he currently possessed.
And now he's treated that human form like shit.
Now he's treated that human form like shit. They live happily ever after. I guess. I don't really care.
Yeah, he's gonna need a prosthetic for his left.
I think when he broke his arm, or when he released his bonds, I think his arm switched to his useless right arm again.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it went from he was shot in the right arm to most of the book having a useless left arm to then at the end having useless right arm again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was Tea with the Black Dragon.
That part in the trunk where he's like, "No, I'm in love with your mom." That's the funniest shit. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. It's just so fucking awkward.
There's so much wrong with this.
He's
book.
gonna be like her stepdad.
Yeah.
And then, oh my god.
Hey, stepdaughter.
Stepdad, I'm stuck in the trunk.
Oh my god.
No, step Fred, no.
Poor Fred.
Poor Fred. Hey, Fred gets the girl in the end.
We don't know that though.
You're right.
He's just like, you should talk to him maybe.
Yeah, but he has a rockin' mustache.
That's good.
Yeah, that's Fred's character's mustache.
Okay.
That was Tea with the Black Dragon. That was a very incoherent mess. It has something to do with the prophecy. A lot of things weren't explained, but it was just assumed that you knew what they were.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of every dragon of this show, the person who read the dragon must give the dragon a dragon. Our dragon system consists of 5 dragons. The first dragon is called Dragon Paper. The book is only worth the physical dragon that it's made of. The second dragon is a dragon bottle.
Don't crack, keep going.
It's better than nothing. And then third, we have Dragon Manual. Competent, but not necessarily dragoning. The fourth is Dragon Pick. It's worth buying electronically and or dragonated. And the top dragon we could give a dragon is Dragon Cover. It's an instant dragon. So on Calagon the Black, what is your rating for Black Tea Dragon?
My rating for Black Tea Dragon, I would have to give it a dragon bottle.
Okay.
Because it is not competently dragoned.
Right.
But it was entertaining.
Definitely.
Parts of it were very entertaining.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that I only paid $1.50 for it at the used dragon store.
Yes. I love the used dragon store.
Careful though. You gotta go to the right one.
Yeah.
You want to go to the good used dragon store, if you know what I'm saying. It was entertaining. There were a lot of editing errors. The author also does a thing when a character is still speaking where he will quote the first half of the conversation, end the paragraph, not end quote.
Okay.
And then quote the start of the next paragraph, even if they're still talking.
Well, that's a thing. I've seen that in a lot of books.
It's a thing in a lot of older books.
Right, right.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Because it is so confusing to see which character is talking.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Especially when he phrases it like he does, by then having the name of the character, like, said John.
Yeah.
After 3 paragraphs where I'm trying to determine who's talking.
Right, yeah.
I hated it. But that's more of an editing thing than it is an actual point against the story.
Right.
I hate this book.
I was thoroughly entertained by it.
It was really, really fun to make fun of.
Yeah.
Reading it was miserable.
Trying to keep track of the different plot elements was very challenging.
Yes.
Because they
Yes.
didn't make sense.
There's another line I forgot to say where Roz is like, "You made me kill my cat." And I'm like, "Nah, you did that."
Yeah, your fucking own dumbass did that.
Your flick 360 no scope headshot.
Yeah. He hears meow.
Why loud? Yeah. Killed your cat. But yeah, so basically Malin's name is Oolong.
Okay.
And he's a Chinese dragon who, so this is my understanding of it.
Right.
He's a Chinese dragon who was given a prophecy that he would know what it's like to be a man, which is by finding love, but he wasn't told that it was by finding love, and that he would lose all he had when he found love, which he didn't because he's still rich as fuck and a dragon.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they mean that you lose all you have, like when you lose your identity and you get married, you become an individual person, like two become one kind of thing. So they're like two separate parts of the same whole. I don't know if that's what he was going for when he said you lose everything, because he didn't lose anything except a lot of blood.
I don't.
Which he was then fine with later.
I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand what he was going for there by saying you're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he keeps everything that he has and gains a girl.
Yeah, he loses use of one arm for a short time.
Yeah. Yeah. And the arm is as variable as a mole is in a Mel Brooks.
Yeah. it's a little flip-floppy.
Or the hump in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about this.
Okay, sweet. I had fun.
I had fun too.
Yeah.
This is a good time.
If you want to get in touch with us and let us know how this episode was or any other episode, or if you have suggestions for books for us to read, you can write to us at apagetofar@gmail.com. That's a page TOOFAR@gmail.com. We love hearing from our editors, and we take all criticism and suggestions seriously. We also have socials. We have an Instagram as well as a Twitter, a page TOOFAR on those as well. We just recently started a YouTube channel just to make it a little bit more accessible for people. So you can check us out on YouTube. We'll check out any comments or, anything from there. We have a Patreon. We have a lot of bonus content.
We just hit the trifecta on our Patreon too. I say the trifecta, but we released so much bonus material this month. We had like a bonus episode coming out, which we missed one in September. So we had September's coming out partway through this month. But then we did a movie commentary. We did a second bonus episode. We're going to continue doing movie commentaries. Right. Actually, I want to talk to you about that at some point too. Thank you for your support. If you support us on Patreon, as always, please, if you cannot afford it, don't feel guilty. Take care of yourself before you
take care of yourself.
Exactly. But we do thank you, and we do appreciate your support. And a lot goes into this show, both time and cost.
A lot of tears.
A lot of tears. A lot of time.
There's a lot of tears.
There's so many tears. Especially when it's the forbidden book. We released that episode. The forbidden episode is out on Patreon. If you want to,
it's done. I don't need to listen to it anymore. I don't need to think about it anymore. It's out there in the world.
If you want to check it out, I posted it personally yesterday.
Yeah,
Cows. The book is called Cows.
Mm-hmm.
Go check it out on Patreon
at your own peril.
There's a second disclaimer in front of the disclaimer.
Yeah. No, we're very clear about it in the episode that you should be absolutely certain you want to listen to it. Hashtag Boba lives.
Hashtag Maylong.
Hashtag Maylong. Get the fuck out of here.
Bye.